Just in the mood music.
Yes, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Chasing those horses down the mountain we go.
Red Dead
Welcome.
Redemption to me. It almost feels
welcome. All right, so we recently finished seasons 2 and 3, and we're going to talk a little bit about season 3. So I guess it's best to reset it with how season 2 ended, which was with
an intro real quick.
This is Milkshake Funerals. Dirty Pop.
Yeah, Dirty Pop. Episode 12. I'm off screen.
He's off screen. That's the disembodied voice of Kyle. So season 2, full spoilers. We're going to ruin everything if you haven't seen it.
Who are you?
My name? I'm Brad.
There we go.
Who am I? Who are you? So the disembodied voice of the size Kyle. We're going to ruin everything. If you haven't seen it and you want to see it, you need to stop watching now. All right. I'm a courteous guy. So season 2 ended with a guy getting shot on the toilet. So we had the brothers who seemed to be in over the head from the first scene. And for some reason, I think they had a death wish.
They were just kind of introduced to be killed. Killed in a really just hasty manner. And I guess it sounds negative, but it just felt like we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're getting to them dead pretty quick.
Yeah. For season 2, I just remember bad guys that's maybe they were trying to get killed. Maybe they had terminal cancer and they had insurance policies. I don't know. But between that, there were a lot of trailer murders, which trailer gun battles is a hallmark of Yellowstone. You're not if you see a trailer, get ready because Casey's probably going to shoot somebody. So we had that ending. It ended with I don't quite remember why Kevin Costner was kind of crying. His daughter had survived a pretty brutal attack thanks to Rip, who literally just kind of sneezed off a bullet shot to the stomach.
Yeah,
he got shot on the way in.
Got shot, whatever. He wears so many layers of clothing. I can't believe it didn't get through.
They asked him if he was all right. He said, "I didn't feel like being shot today." And then it just fell out.
I think he kind of broke down because the grandson.
Tate shaved head.
I think the whole thing, and he kind of blamed himself, and it was kind of his fault. So
yeah,
the kidnapping.
Church riding up.
So I'm trying to look up the name.
It's called a Tate napping. God. So yeah, Tate was for some reason these evil brothers commissioned some white
the perpetually white hair.
Oh, Neil McDonough from Band of Brothers,
Captain America, First Avenger.
Oh, he was a good guy in that.
He was rarely,
yeah. He's normally a bad guy. He's a
justified bad guy.
Justified bad guy.
Kind of a bad guy in Van Helsing.
Van Helsing, he's
kind of not. Sometimes a bad guy, and then they we're just kidding.
He has an arc. So we had that. We had Tate just screaming because he'd been kidnapped for. Tell me why they kidnapped him. Why did they shave his head? They kidnapped him. They've had him for 2 days, and they shave his head.
It's not real clear. I feel like it was because of the story.
Well, they wanted to show. Sorry, I got a beagle trying to eat a pillow. Okay. I guess they wanted to show a mental scar by showing a physical transformation, but. Why would these meth heads shave his head in 2 days?
Maybe they're worried about lice or something.
They probably have lice. Anyway, so that went down. So you had everybody in kind of a shaken but survived.
What's animals. That? He's around animals all the time on a farm, a ranch. Maybe they're worried about mites or ticks.
You think that the meth head kidnappers decided to delouse him?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
That's what you say. Very good.
Delouse is one of my favorite words on it. All right. So it also ended with the Drifter, Mr. Sing-Along. What? Walker?
Thank goodness we just watched it recently, or I wouldn't still.
Oh, Walker. Texas Ranger. All right. So Walker got cut loose. That might be a segue into this season a little bit. I've never understood Rip's problem with Walker so much, other than Walker doesn't necessarily want to do crimes. He doesn't, which is weird to me because he doesn't, up until this season, he doesn't expect that of several of the others. Colby, fake-ass Handsome McGee, fake-ass...
Not Lee, basically.
Not Lee, yeah. Oh, yeah, not dead Lee. Like, he doesn't have these weird expectations of them. Like,
he just doesn't like him, man.
I mean,
he goes in the wrong...
That brings me to this point.
But it has morphed into pure hatred.
It has. I do like the fact that he does just rub him the wrong way. And that... It took me until basically the end of this season to accept that as like something I can live with. Meanwhile, my rescue beagle just stop eating the couch, man.
Just going to town.
Boy, he's worse than these barrel racial girls. They'll just move in, just destroy your whole life.
I'm looking forward to getting to that.
Oh, we're gonna get there. Okay, so let's talk about some things we learned in season 3. We're coming into season 3. Weary but hopeful.
Doing a rat like season 2 was kind of like the ascension of Casey, and like we ended season 1 with he had come home, the prodigal son,
Sure,
prodigal. He came home, and we didn't spend much time with him basically learning the ropes. Like it was like, okay, and now you're
running the ranch.
You're the foreman.
Rip's
now.
like, what the fuck just happened?
That was a cool name, but it did not last long at all.
No,
power structure.
Casey doesn't really want to be in. Well, okay, that gets us to this season.
But yeah, so like you got to him being established, and that was pretty much season 2.
That's good.
Beth, just more anger and bitterness, and there were hints that they got way more into season 2 into her deep hatred of not Wyatt, but just showing her hatred for Jamie.
Yeah, and this is a critique I'm gonna have of the show. You might have waited about a season too long to give us an explanation, which you and I will disagree about how valid we find the explanation. So. But like,
come around.
But like, it got to be a bit much, and also the fact that you continued it significantly into season 3. I got to a point where, and I like her character better than his character, but I did get to a point where like. She just like go out her way. He's like, "Good morning, want some coffee?" She's like, "Fuck you and die." I'm like, God, can we just have a bagel and hug this out or something?
No meal ends with everyone seated. Where
no, that's right. Poor Costner, poor John Dutton.
He kind of is like season 2 with him. It's like his renewal of life. He finds out he's not dying, so it's like, what do I do now that I'm not dying?
Yeah.
Jamie just kind of is there. I don't think there's anything.
Jamie's.
Well, he did. He murdered the hell out of somebody. He
still thinks you can strangle your problems away, which
he learned scared murder. He's scared and crying and murdering at the same time.
Yep.
And
no
much.
Yeah.
Rip. Rip had it all as usual. He probably had the best arc, I think, of the entire season.
This is season 2. We're about to head on to season 2.
He was basically acknowledged as a son of John Dutton.
Yeah.
And got a cool ass little house on the ranch.
Yeah, it's odd. He's the only one that seems to be able to be given any actual like lasting happiness that he'll like, which we'll get to. All right, so let's move on to season 3.
Maybe that's why.
Well, for somebody that didn't ask for much, he's got a glorious home and ranch in Montana in a valley.
He's earned it
very low. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So.
But the Brothers Grimm didn't really pose almost no resistance. I mean, it was weird.
Well, it was weird because they set Rip up to be killed, essentially. Like you thought when the Native American did all the marks on the horse. He was like, right. He's like, yeah, I guess I won't bother asking. He's like, yeah, it wouldn't work on you anyway. I was like, oh, they're gonna kill him. But and this will lead to another point. This show is if Game of Thrones and Dallas banged and had a baby. Because the show, it has some of the striking moments, and I as they'd call them, they're not set pieces on par with Game of Thrones, but clearly cinematic sequences meant to be viral almost. But it has some of the sensibilities of a network show, which I don't want to jump ahead to the end, but I'm going to. Case in point, this ending.
Yeah.
Which is basically Who Shot JR, but times like 3. It's like 3 Who Shot JRs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who sent the bomb? I actually think, I don't know. This show is sometimes likes to flirt with being complicated and then keeps it simple, which probably is a metaphor for the Duttons. But I think there's a situation where that could have been 2 or hell, maybe even 3 different people that tried to have those different killings. I don't even know. We'll get to that. We can get to that at the end. So let's just jump right to the Jamie and Beth. So somehow Jamie is able to talk his way into getting her an abortion with a forced sterilization.
It's a flashback.
It's a flashback, yeah. So this is why he hates her.
She was like 15 maybe,
yeah.
And he was like 17 or 18.
So I want to separate the premise from the ramifications. I'll start with the ramifications. I kept trying to think, well, she's alive, she's healthy, she's never been married, she didn't have any kids, and so he didn't kill anybody she loved. He doesn't strike me as someone that would have tried to sexually assault her. I cannot figure out what in the hell he could have done to make her so angry. Okay, well, somehow losing the ability to have children, that'll do it. She was sterile. Basically, she said they basically gave her a hysterectomy essentially when she got her abortion. Yeah, that's what it was her word. Right. She said hysterectomy, but at the clinic they said sterilization. Now that is not uncommon, or I don't know how common it is. I did a little research. That is something that happened. It's happened in different places. It has happened on reservation clinics. Okay, so I get it. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty horrible thing. Just on the facts of that thing of being sterilized for the abortion, it's horrible because they presented it like he just somehow was like under the table, said, "Yeah, let's do it," and then she had no knowledge of it till after the fact. Yeah. Okay. And so, assuming all that could have happened, yeah, and it's very horrible. And I love this show, and I enjoyed the season, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but. The premise is fucking ridiculous. The idea that no one in that clinic would say to her, like, "Are you sure?" Because you don't have a legal guardian or parent here with you. Because what you're telling me is this underage teenager goes into an abortion clinic, says, "I need you to hook her up." She's like, "We can't do it." Gives her the hard press, "I need you to hook her up." She's like, "We're going to have to sterilize her." Really doesn't say anything else to the woman. So then that means he went and got his sister, brought her back in. No one says shit. And I mean nothing. Literally, yeah. Okay, you're like, here we go. And that is, completely preposterous. In a season where there's a season finale that simultaneously involves a special teams assault on a government office in broad daylight, a bomb being shipped right down the street, and somehow somebody in a Chester van finding John Dutton on just lucking out at a season that ended like that. That's the by far most ridiculous thing I've ever seen on Yellowstone. But anyway, wouldn't they have given her like post-op instructions? Like you're gonna have this pain. There would have been some form. There's always paperwork. This is your post-operation instructions for taking care of yourself. They would have explained at least some of this to her beforehand, and then be like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, so I understand why she's so pissed. So because I love this show, and maybe there's some similarities. I have no idea what the difference between like post-abortion versus post-history. It's kind of anyway, the point is, you kind of nailed it. It's the premise is kind of out of control. Ramifications. Okay, I get it. But I just think you may have landed the plane, but boy, I don't know how you ever got into the air. So, what else we got? So before we move on, I just want from a Jamie perspective. So it makes him a villain. Well, it absolutely does, because I'm going to be honest. I almost felt like that he did that to remove the idea of her having any children that could compete with his own potential children taking over the ranch. Like, he didn't strike me as someone who was struggling with the decision when he did that. Yeah. So, I mean, it makes him a total villain and a total asshole. Almost misaligned with who he's become, though. Like, well, I don't mean like who he became by the end of season 3, which we'll talk about. But anyway, I'd like to move on from this. So, so that was interesting. We got to learn about that. We spent some time on summer camp with Tate.
Boy, yeah. A lot of Tate time.
A lot of Tate time. We spent a lot of Tate time. We probably got, if I wanted to hear 3 cute conversations between John Dutton and his grandson, we probably got 5.
I mean, we got like big portions of episodes of him just weirdly referring to him exclusively as grandson.
Yeah, I mean, look, I enjoyed the pissing to try and save the elk. I'm gonna save this elk. That was nice. That was a vintage sort of Yellowstone, Taylor Sheridan, Kevin Costner. So I'm just kind of taking the early part of the season on. You know, we spent some time at summer camp. It was nice. Fun, I learned some things about a summer camp. You know, at these ranches, they're like, well, we got to move the cattle. It's so far out, like we can't be going back and forth. So let's have So that was neat. You always learn so much. On this, like the way they train the horses with the.
I hope it's accurate.
It's accurate. It's accurate.
I didn't know that wolves will just watch people have sex and not attack them and eat them. That's interesting.
Yeah, multiple times.
But yeah, we went from Tate in season 2. It's like, oh man, they can't kill Tate. I hope they save him until like, man, maybe some bear.
Oh no,
will just roll up.
All right, well, this will.
There were other moments of fun, like when Casey and John both walk out of their tent. It's like, yeah, they had their women moment.
Yeah, I'm banging the governor. What are you doing?
Making my hot wife. So they had that fun little weird, morning sex moment.
Making my hot wife.
So it's kind of odd but fun.
Hey, who? Yeah,
they know their audience. I'm not like it's that big.
Oh, there's not a female writer on this staff.
Yeah.
Let's make. Actually, there is. The staff is Taylor Sheridan. He actually writes all the episodes, which I love it. I love his movies. I mean, Wind River is so dark.
Well, season 3
it makes Pan's Labyrinth look like a Disney film. But
season 2 or 3 when we get the best line of so far of the series.
I don't care what I eat.
I don't care what I eat.
That was season 2. Okay. All time great line. The dad's just like trying to be like
squid or something.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah.
She don't want to eat steak. Beth don't want to eat steak anymore, so she brings in like squid or octopus.
Yeah,
I think it's octopus.
Yeah, it is.
And I mean, it looks as unappealing as it always does when you choose to eat octopus. And
well, Jamie, that's a military man. You know, the job is to get the food in the stomach and have the calories.
He's looking at it like there's not a chance in hell he's going to eat. He looks over at Casey. He's like, I'm not even sure if he says anything or he may. I don't know if he says anything or just gestures in case he's. I don't care what I eat. It's the best line I've ever heard.
Favorite lines
in the show.
Yeah. All right, so summer camp. We hung out there a little bit. It is where I feel that Casey and his wife, whose name is Casey's Lalandra. You want to listen? Maybe
it's a Men Black name.
Maybe we will call her Lalandra. No, Lalandra's from X-Men. Well, for me it is. So Monica. That's an very strange. Is that a common name for anyway? This is where I would like to give Casey and Monica the Rick and Lori Parenting Award for online TV couple most likely to get their child killed through neglect. So Rick and Lori from Walking Dead did their best and actually eventually pretty well succeeded in getting their son killed. Probably Rick, maybe even more than Lori. But yeah, so at one point they see a wolf. I believe it was a wolf. Yeah. And it like runs off. And then Tate's like, I'm out of here. And they just let him leave. He heads in a direction that is not in an opposite direction of where that wolf went.
Well, yeah, it's like he just is wandering and they're cool. And then they walk off to have sex. The wolf sees them. And then like, the wolf bounces. And the weird thing is, I think you and I said, like, wait a minute, isn't Tate just wandering around the woods?
Yeah, I was not going to be here for I didn't need Tate in peril in yet another season, and he's a smart writer. We didn't get it, but
he's just kind of there.
But that is a bit of a gap because that wolf's they
actually made a point of saying this wolf is by itself and it's hungry and desperate.
Bye, Tate.
Yeah, whatever.
Have fun out there. Enjoy your hike. Okay, so summer camp was fun. Let's see, I have some other notes.
What more jovial scenes in the bunkhouse?
Oh, bunkhouse is fun. So we had more of who is our...
Basically, it coincided with Rip no longer living in the bunkhouse.
The fun starts when Rip departs, boys and girls. They're
going down in that bunkhouse.
Well, and that we'll get to them really getting down here in just a second, but we got a lot more of the what's our roper, our rodeo man, Jimmy. There we go, Jimmy, who everybody every person in the state of Montana, I literally think it's going to be on their ballot as an initiative. Has a say on whether or not he should keep being in the rodeo. I think literally it's like you vote for governor and senator, and then on Montana's ballot, it's like, should Jimmy keep rodeoing? Jesus.
I could see
leave him alone.
A state legislature actually, especially in Montana, actually doing that.
Jimmy Day. So that was fun. Jimmy is a great character because to me, he's the one character in this show who unintentionally so. I don't mean this like the guy that was the real estate developer from season 1 and 2 and who died saying this is America.
I deserve to be.
Yeah, I deserve to be here. It's a great line. I don't mean in this way. He seems like he's from another world. Like, it's weird that he's been dropped in. He doesn't talk like them. He doesn't have the same, and theoretically, we can assume he grew up in the same area. I mean, he grew up probably somewhat destitute and had other problems, but like he feels like he's dropped in from like another universe. He has different
showverse.
He has totally different sensibilities. He doesn't have a temper. He's a generally sweet guy. He's much more thoughtful than you would have thought. He's clever. I like him. He's one of my favorite characters on there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we had some fun with him. Jimmy got a girlfriend. Let's go ahead and talk about the barrel racers.
Wow. Preposterous.
You're not. Yeah, the barrel racers just kind of.
No, I just mean him. I mean, the good part is he kept acknowledging it the entire time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't get it either.
Well, you had the nice moment like Wahlberg from the other guys when you see that Will Ferrell is married to Ryan. Oh God, I feel like a sexist. Ryan Gosling's wife. So sorry.
What?
But that's who he's married to.
Oh wow.
Ryan Gosling's married. Oh, okay. Now I feel really bad.
Let's just look at it. We'll pause for a moment.
Other guys. Oh my God. Eva Mendes. Good grief. I should have known that.
Huh.
So anyway, Jimmy pokes fun at himself, and others poke fun because of his hot barrel racer girlfriend. The barrel racers, though,
and it's literal. That was kind of took me by surprise.
Yeah, I thought it was a
like
euphemism.
A saying,
and then I was gonna be like,
they're just racing literally around barrels.
Till I saw them race around the barrels, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to call them barrel racers on the podcast, am I? But it's an actual thing that they do, and they cause a lot of problems. So I'm not going to blame her because Jimmy needs to get his shit together. He has just a horrifying off-screen, which I didn't appreciate. I appreciated it first because it makes you think like, oh, it must be terrible. It's similar to like where Steven Spielberg never shows the monster in like the first hour of the film. It's a similar thing. We heard this awful.
He was like bent in half and like bent back.
Yeah, I thought, oh, that's the end of Jimmy.
His head was going to be about 270 degrees going the wrong direction.
I mean, I feel like you and I may be the only two viewers on the planet that like after we heard the injuries, we're like, oh.
Well, it's like, I mean, I love seeing that. I mean, well, I'm going to stop.
Yeah, let me stop. As the guy said in the office,
it's like, sometimes there are people who want to see it.
It's a train wreck.
Like he,
Woo!
You want to see it? Anyway. But yeah, I wanted to see how bad the sound looked like he was broken in half.
Oh, it did. It sounded like that bull that horse banged his ass. So he didn't.
He was pretty messed up.
He was, which leads to maybe I don't know if it was my favorite. It may have been my favorite moment of dialogue between two people, which is saying a lot. Actually, it wasn't. All right, I want to reclassify it. It was my favorite bit of John Dutton monologuing was him sitting across from Jimmy in the hospital bed, reading off his injuries.
I don't even know that. He's just, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh. He's like, why does my hand hurt? Well, it looks here like that's the only thing that's not broken.
Must not be too bad. Yeah.
Must not be too bad. He was amazing in that scene. So that was great. The barrel racers, really what I want to talk about with the terms of them is like, we're presented with this Yellowstone ranch where John Dutton and Rip, like they don't tolerate any bullshit. I mean, they really kind of
zero nonsense.
Yeah, they kind of over police their workers a little bit.
You almost like, are they trapped here? I mean, I feel a lot like
that's an interesting point. There's times I'm like, are they prisoners?
Like, I feel like they literally can't leave. Like,
I can't answer the question.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If one of them with the brand wanted to just go home or leave or move to the beach
in Bozeman or like
work remote, yeah. I don't think they can. I feel like they go to the train station. So, all right. But the Bell Racers, so I guess that was my thing is like, I fully expected Dutton or Rip or probably not Casey because Casey doesn't really want to run the bunkhouse in the ranch. He's like anti-Jamie in a way. Well, he's like bizarro Jamie. Like, he wants to please his father, but he's enough of his own dude that he's also going to do what he wants.
He's such a self-sufficient person. He seems like he expects everyone to be that way.
Yeah, he does, which is not.
Most people are not that way.
No, it's not. You can't have a guy like that running the bunkhouse because they're like, well, it's like why Michael Jordan could never be a great coach.
What the fuck is going on around? Really? Sometimes it's like, dude, nothing. Like
nothing, man. We're all asleep. The lights are off. What's wrong with you? Are you drunk again? How many Coors? That's a product. Have you had?
Chugging. Yeah. But no,
Yellowstone runs on Coors. The point
of like, there's this odd juxtaposition of the insanely stringent rules and potentially prisoner atmosphere versus barrel racers just come in and like
how are two couples having sex in that bunkhouse at once and anybody's getting any sleep?
Man, yeah, I mean they just kind of move in, and they weirdly like act put off. Other things are going like y'all don't live here.
Boy, they came in, they owned that shit. Oh, all right. So we can finish up the barrel racers. The blonde barrel racers definitely.
I like them as characters. But.
Oh, I do too. The scene with Rip and Jimmy and his girlfriend in the truck was amazing.
What's great is Cole Hauser.
Yeah, he nailed it.
Such a good job.
We don't know Eva Mendes. We know Cole.
With doing his like insanity mode, kind of, or like his like threadbare mode, because like. Well, boy, he's getting real. She's just chattering. You know, it's great. She's just hammering away questions.
He's just getting madder.
And she's like, music. Yeah, music.
Yeah.
And he's like real key to, music. How about Jimmy? Let's play some music.
Yeah.
And then, though, she starts asking, and he starts laughing, like almost hysterically. And I can't tell if it's genuine or if he's just so angry that he's laughing.
But it's great.
And that's what's so great about it. Like, he did such a good job of that.
So he came out and he, as soon as he gets into it with Jimmy and his girlfriend's there and it's all, and he's, oh, it's going to be one of them fucking days, isn't it? I was like, yes. I was like, I felt like Rip a lot at certain points. All right. So that's the barrel racers. I did think her pep talk to him about, see that girl? She's paralyzed from the waist.
Oh, you mean the ultimatum talk?
The ultimatum, which, as you said, ultimatums.
Great. Sign of a fantastic relationship.
It's gonna be a healthy relationship.
Like if you wanna bang me, you gotta be a rodeo guy.
Yeah, rodeo guy.
Damn. Like, really?
He's like,
I guess I respect the straightforward nature.
I
of
do
it,
too. I got a fake hip and I'm like 26, but you want me to get back? Well, she's paralyzed and she's on it. I want to be like you're. Hey, that's barrel racing.
You're not really making a good case.
You're not. And how in the hell that woman paralyzed herself barrel racing? Well, that'll be the end of it.
Well, they kind of strapped her in, it looked like.
They did. Yeah, that feels like that should be illegal. I would object if I was barrel racing. But yeah, so that kind of wraps That kind of wraps it. I have a sneaking suspicion we're not going to see much of the barrel racers in season 4.
Yeah.
All right, so I think
Although I will say they dedicate a lot of time to Jimmy. Like people would think he's a very secondary character, but I would say he's definitely not. Like he's right after the Dutton characters in terms of who gets screen time.
He does. He gets a lot.
Yeah.
And it never feels like a waste.
And I'm saying they must have seen, like, they must have realized early on this guy's a pretty good actor, like, or he fits, and like, because they definitely dedicate significant, like, almost rip amount of time to him.
Yeah.
So,
just to put a button on that conversation, when she's basically given the who the hell is John Dutton to tell you what to do?
Well,
wait, I screened it.
Small matter.
He just paid probably a couple $100,000 in medical bills.
At least.
Probably
closer to I mean, I can't imagine. He had back surgery, hip surgery. They replaced his hip.
And he has no insurance.
You're talking pure cash. Like, there's no telling how much.
He's probably closer to $250,000.
Yeah, it's unreal. Yeah.
That's who he is.
Just paid it. The guy that's kept you from...
As Melissa McCarthy would say in The Spy, that's who the fuck he is. I am. Oh my God!
And he said, "I'm doing this, and you don't race you don't rodeo anymore." So it's like, well, okay, that's pretty simple.
Because if he said, "No, like, cool, your bill will be waiting for you, and you walk out," that you'll never be able to pay back.
Because it's not like,
I hope your love accrues interest.
No, you got injured rodeoing.
Yeah.
When people told you at the ranch, you probably shouldn't rodeo because you're fucked. I think there was a conversation like, "Yeah, dude, you're fucked if you get injured rodeoing because you can't work here." Like, I think there was something like that. So, yeah, it's kind of – he should have said something. Like, well, I kind of owe him, but okay, never mind.
All right.
The weird thing was, okay, so earlier, at some point in the season, his buddy
he has a buddy?
The lieutenant for Rip. Rip was kind of –
young Sam Elliott.
Yeah. He actually told him at one point, he's like, well, only person who can decide if you rodeo again is you. And I'm like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah.
So that was a little strange. I think he resents maybe John. It sounded like something similar happened to him.
Yes, it does. But he's, he can also, it's all I can do, get up out of bed in the morning. Well, maybe then you should give him a little friendly advice. All right, I'd like to transition to Jamie. So, should we talk about the hair?
Motorcycle helmet, Jamie.
That's not real hair.
I mean,
I'm waiting for someone to walk up behind him, lift his hair up, switch out his microchip, and he's like personality.
I didn't know hair could be so rounded, so smoothly rounded.
Blade Runner androids are like, dude, you need to get your hair fixed. Original Blade Runner, not the new one, because they look amazing.
It's wild.
Yeah,
it looks like a helmet. It just
I can't take him. I can't take him seriously. I mean, I don't think
his hair looked like that early on.
No, when he's on the screen, I'm literally just staring at his hair.
It's so bad.
It looks like PlayStation 1 like graphics hair.
Dude, get a two clipper on the sides and back, man. Like, Jesus.
Its only competitor in the show is Rourke's hair.
Come on, Sawyer.
Come on, Sawyer.
You're better than that. Actually, he's not. He's had that hairstyle for so many years, except for like the last season of that cool sci-fi show that if I had to try to think of it.
Colony
that I've watched. He finally got a short hair. It might have been around the time when he did that Mission Impossible scenes. His hair was short.
Oh, he looked good in that for the 5 minutes he was in it.
You actually look pretty.
Yeah, and we'll get back to Jamie, but that hair's got to stop.
Like, that awful stringy shit in the back.
You didn't notice it in Lost because it's always kind of windblown or like wet. It was long.
It was like longer on the top.
When he walks in there with it slick between him in that office, that was like really important shit going down. Between him with his slick back, like bad version of Gordon Gekko, and Jamie's like Darth Vader, all I could think about was hair. That's all I got out of that meeting. It was fucking hair. All right, Jamie. All right, so Jamie. All right.
Unexpected turn for his character.
Yeah, and I'm not going to wade too much into how adopted children should act because I don't know. I'd be speaking out of my ass. It's very convenient that his feeling like he never belonged. Oh, he's adopted. I feel like there's some adopted people that would strongly object to what they did there. I'm not going to weigh in on one way or the other than to say it was very on the nose. And usually when things are that on the nose in a fictional work, I don't totally buy it.
mean, because he's like, well, it's hard to know because like in the start of the series, all of a sudden he was kind of starts to become the new black sheep. Like Casey's not the black sheep of the family anymore, and now it's starting to become Jamie. He clearly had been like his dad's right-hand man for many years.
Yeah.
And helped him run the ranch and handle all the finances and all the legal, and it seemed to be going okay. Beth was not around. Casey was not around. So it's kind of like, when did this start?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it just seems like it was very sudden for the sake of because of the show.
And I will say this. Maybe he doesn't feel like he belongs, not because he's adopted and he couldn't have known that, but maybe it's because Kevin Costner really did treat him differently.
Well, they kind of tried to set that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sending you off to Harvard. You're going to help me by becoming a lawyer. I thought that was like, that flashback was kind of weird. I remember at the time thinking, God, he's kind of like using his son. Like, that's kind of fucked up.
We have a wonderful text message we have a listener who is adopted, who says, fuck Jamie. John Dutton was prepared to make him a scion. So there you go. So I feel a little validated here. I feel like it was a little. I
didn't have any idea. The way the show. I've always felt like, especially this season, I've spent more time thinking about like, boy, he was right there, like almost favorite son status potentially until the series started.
I'm gonna say something,
but maybe we don't know. And they tried to deal with him. Yeah,
I think his character is completely useless.
Yes,
I think the show is better if that character. I'm not blaming the actor. The show is better if that character doesn't exist, and one of the many other, 10 to 15 characters that we know their names and get lines, get some more breathing room. It's like when I plant too many tomatoes in the backyard.
I would have been more Colby and Tater. I could do much.
Tater. Oh God! All right, we're going. Don't. Yeah, we're
Tater. She's a Tater.
Tater. We're gonna get to Tater. But
yeah,
he's just he doesn't bring anything to it. And here's the other thing. I was like, but he kind of turned into evil Michael Corleone at the end. Did he? And secondly, they've got enough enemies. Like, they don't have a problem finding conflict on this show.
I did like his new outlook on life.
Well, because he's finally interesting. Yeah. He's not.
Because honestly, I was like, I'm not sure he's a villain. I think he's just kind of a wild card now. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
He's just in it for himself.
Yeah.
I love Will Patton. Couldn't have been happier that he's been introduced on the show. I hope he gets some more work.
Oh, he's the best. I'm going to get to that though. But I will never understand this deep animus Jamie has for, until they show me some scenes with him being neglected. They're not.
Well, he didn't. Like, I hate you. I mean, just because his dad was like, "You're a piece of shit for forcing your sister to be sterile,"
and then he said, "Bang!" He said,
"I'm like, that's going to be a problem."
In fact, it's pretty unfunny. Yeah.
And it was a problem trying to get that window fixed, as we all knew it would be.
Well, if they really wanted to be cool Game of Thrones, he slices an artery and dies, and none of us see that coming.
Crazy.
And it's very plausible.
And all of them are just like, just shot, yeah.
Yep.
He goes to the train station. He definitely deserves some pain at this point. It's weird. He's almost avoided so much. He's done a lot of horrible things.
It is weird that all right, so I know that it's irrational that I'm rooting for him to screw his family back. It's just weird. I don't even know how to explain it because I don't agree with anything he's done. But I guess it's, boy, Beth just shit all over him so hard without me knowing even why. And then when I find out why, I don't logically believe it. So, like, it's just, there's part of me that's like, maybe you treat somebody like Fredo long enough, they start acting like Fredo. I don't know. But anyway, I would just excise it. If anything, just to let the other characters have some more breathing room. I think Rourke could have had some more screen time. I mean, it's just another example of, like, maybe let's, like, all right, we can transition from Jamie. Well, his stepdad, I have got a major problem. His real father. I've got a major problem with the story that is being presented to us for the father. He's like, I came home, she was cheating on me. I beat her to death with a shower head to save your life. It's Kyle Departs. Amen. When the bio breaks come, just let everybody know it's a nice time to mention we're sponsored by White's Elixirs, made with natural ingredients. Be a home bartender. Anybody can do it. Craft cocktails in seconds. All right. Remember, you don't have to Google our ingredients. Kyle's back.
Did you catch me on camera there?
Yeah. The bathroom's in camera.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You gotta go. So, like, when he's like, son, if I didn't brutally murder my wife with a shower head, you couldn't have been Attorney General. I was like, y'all, I'm not with you on this. Like, I'm sorry.
They have to come back to that. Like, there needs to be a question of like, wait a minute, you're telling me
they're not gonna.
I'm a 3-month-old infant, and you had the foresight to think,
if
I'm not killing my wife because she's strung out on drugs and cheating on me. I'm killing her.
But you still don't get to kill her for that anyway.
Like, what?
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
Like, you just don't get to kill her. And
let's set aside the obvious part. The rationalization is so idiotic. And, like, you really think
And this is my problem. I don't think they're going to come back to it because you cast one of the most likable that guys in the history of film and television. He's a little more than a that guy, but from a lot of people, he's a that guy. You have him explain this as they're watching a sunny field in a pastoral setting. He seems so noble. No, he beat his wife to death with a shower head. I don't care if she has somebody under her and a cocaine, and a heroin needle in her temple, and the kid screaming. You don't get to kill her. Like, that's it, man. Like, and you're not noble for doing it. You didn't say, "Oh my God!" Like he sacrificed himself for him.
Why didn't he just take the kid and leave?
DHS will settle that shit real quick, as we've seen. What was it? This show or was it? No, wow, y'all. I just binged Homeland like seasons 4 through. God help me. Was there 9? It felt like there were 12. Anyway, you don't care because you're never going to watch it.
No.
They take her kid away at one point. Sorry. I'm getting my Homeland mixed up with my Yellowstone, which Yellowstone's a better show.
So if you're such a noble father, take your kid away from her and just leave.
You could call DHS and they're going to see that shit and that kid's gone. So I was really just kind of like insulted as a viewer how they tried to present him. And I'm further insulted because I don't think they're going to attempt to call him on it by the way they set it up. This is where having perhaps, I shouldn't say it because I don't know. My assumption is Taylor Sheridan does all the writing, and I think 90% of the time that's great. But, boy, I ain't buying that one, man. All right. I think we can move off of Jamie. I don't have a lot to say about Beth. I found she was extreme. She really, I don't want to minimize her. It was a great arc.
I mean, the show minimizes her.
Yeah.
So I think she's pretty much, she gets a lot of lines.
She's a attack dog. Yeah.
There's really
she gets some of the best lines.
Nothing to her story. Almost nothing. They tried to humanize a little bit with the flashback stuff with Jamie, but other than that, I just don't care. I mean, there's sweet moments, I guess, with Rip, but like, I don't buy it because like she's dark and like.
See, I quite like Beth.
I guess it's kind of like they both are, but I don't know. I just feel like there's so little redeeming about her. She like acts like she's loyal to the family, but she actually kind of, I can't tell if she hates her father or loves her father.
Probably a little both.
And I think she hates the whole ranch. Yeah. She hates the Yellowstone Ranch with a passion and wants to see it fall.
Well, that's what I think is one of the most interesting things about her is that contradiction that she lives that contradiction where like she thinks it should go away, but she does love her father.
Like, I don't think there's a good contradiction. They haven't given me a reason to think that she's compelled. Like, what's compelling her to do it? I don't see it. I haven't seen anything that's like, oh, that's why she's doing this.
I think she's resentful of the guilt she feels over her mother dying, and if they hadn't been raised on a horse ranch, it wouldn't have happened. I don't know. And I'm taking a little bit of a walk in my own creative mind there with that.
The show hasn't done anything.
But I love her lines. I don't know. She brings a lot of like when she's on the screen. I feel like there's a lot of tension.
I see nobody calls her out on her bullshit. Like I'm just amazed. Like y'all are not gonna say anything. Like what? It's baffling to me.
Well, they've beat her with an inch of her life and blown her up now in consecutive seasons. The family.
So. I mean, she's kind of awful to everybody.
I think if you and I had grown up with sisters, we might feel that was more realistic.
Like Casey just doesn't say shit. Now she doesn't interact with Casey much, so that's another thing I don't like. I don't like that. I want them to interact more. I think it's bullshit that they don't interact because I think that would be the most interesting interaction that either of them would have.
Yeah,
is interacting with each other. Because poor Casey, I don't know the actor's name. My God, I can't imagine how awful it is for him as an actor to have to act against.
Do you not like Monica?
It's like it's like a wooden desk delivering lines. She is just one of the most least charismatic people I've ever seen.
I killed someone. So that's funny. Let me say one final thing about Beth.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Beth character. Yeah. I know you like her. I don't.
I do. I like that actress. I celebrate her entire catalog.
I think she's been pretty good. She was all right.
I just want to close out on Beth and say, who is running? What's it called? Something in Meyer.
Schwartz.
Who is running Schwartz and Meyer? Because they allowed her to. She's not the owner of Schwartz and Meyer. Meyer.
I think that Bob guy, I guess, was a partial owner.
Well, he should hate her.
He
acts like her employee
because she does work for him,
right? But well, she was like single-handedly getting them
for some reason she
taking over.
They like let her do whatever they want, and they like
whatever
joining her on this venture to take financial capital that their company has and just sinking it into land because she wants. Her company, Schwartz & Meyer, seems to have no interest in developing all this land they've been buying. It's been completely baffling to me from I think it started in season 1. And I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, I need to see a mission statement from these guys because
I don't know what's going on. They trade on the stock exchange, so they must.
If I'm a shareholder, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's just
first and foremost, who is Beth?
That part is not great, but that's kind of
who the hell is Beth? And why
are these brokers in New York not be like, where the hell's our money going to in Montana?
Gosh.
And then she obliterated the company in like a day.
Nuts. I want to jump over. So we'll talk a little villains and we'll kind of talk the ending and we'll close it out. But I'd like to talk a little bit about do we want to talk a little bit about Tater and
Tater.
Poor Colby? Colby has one hell of a sexual harassment lawsuit grounds on his hands.
Against Tater, yeah. Wow.
She ceaselessly harasses him.
In front of
everybody. It's textbook. Of course, we know this is Yellowstone in this. And he's a guy. But wow. But man, did they pay that off. I also enjoy when they take the model and they give her a funky accent. Now she's, I don't know about that one. Come on.
It's great. It's just, just such an incomprehensible accent.
When she says to him, it's like, something about sitting in the back. She's like, you ought to be up here on mama's lap. And they're like, God, she goes, I ain't lying. Or so I was dying. Dying. She probably has some of the best lines in the show. In terms of lines, she's top 4 this season. Let's see what else. Anybody can be attorney general. Anybody can be the livestock commissioner.
Well, they had the one attorney general, and then she just was written us off the show, with no explanation.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird.
Oh, the federal government. She must have been cast in something else, or they just made that decision as in the plot because it's the attorney general's off. The attorney general wanted to make her the assistant, deputy. That's the word I couldn't say. Deputy attorney general.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So let's see. All right. So that closes out. That didn't quite close out the kids. There was Schwartz and Meyer. All right. Let's talk about let's go ahead and jump into the villains a little bit. As the Beagle continues to hunt for anything he can find. Let's jump to the villains, specifically the Sons. What are their names? Wade Morrow?
Oh, wait. The Sons?
The man and the son. I'm sorry.
It was Wade
villains.
Morrow and son. I don't know the son's name. I think they said it once. They probably said it. I don't know. He just kept getting his ass beat. So I didn't.
Oh, that actress that plays Tater. Thank you, Michael. Is Michael Landon's daughter
I feel like I've seen her in a lot of other things.
from Little House on the Prairie. She never left the prairie. She is known for. She is known.
She in Animal Kingdom?
Oh, she was in Young and the Restless in 2012. I didn't know it was still in Chicago Med. Animal Kingdom, yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Which one was she?
The crazy brother, one who was in prison. His girlfriend, like when he was trying to infiltrate like a church.
That was her?
Yeah, I wondered if it was her.
What?
I wasn't like 100%. Yeah.
Holy shit!
She was a lot younger in this, like because that was a couple years ago.
Man, yeah, wow. That's nuts.
It is nuts.
That's nuts. It's nuts.
I've seen her in some other things.
She's
pretty good.
Recognize people.
Yeah.
All right. So we can jump to the villains as we move toward the end, and we'll close it out. He's fine. But the villains, the Morrows, like what did they think was going to happen when they nearly trampled?
Well, it kind of goes back to like those guys in season 2. Like these people act like they're just going to do things and. I'm amazed there's not a reputation for the Dozens.
That's what's somewhat unbelievable is, especially for someone who worked on that ranch and had the brand.
He knew.
They had to know they wouldn't let that shit go unchecked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really fun. John kept saying he's got something. He took something of mine. I want it back.
Yeah.
And there was, like you said, there was no way of guessing that what he was talking about was that brand.
So it was silly. Oh, okay. That's what I had. Who had on their bingo card brand?
Yeah.
Because I did not. When he said he had something that belongs to me, I thought, hat, some piece of jewelry,
a belt buckle,
a gun, maybe his wife's ashes.
Not the branded skin.
Not the skin.
A nice little piece of leather.
Wow. Yeah. Shout outs to Far Cry 5. Okay, I want to talk about Casey and his wife real quick, and then there's not as much. There wasn't a lot going on with the Native American storyline in this, which is a shame because I really like the chairman. Mm-hmm. He's in all of Taylor Sheridan stuff. He's really good. I was glad they did shine a spotlight on. The targeting criminally of women on reservations. It's horrible. Go do some Googling. You won't like what you find. It's pretty terrible, and it's pretty terrible that we as a country are not doing more to stop it. And I'll move on from that, but I'm glad they put the spotlight on it. In a very odd way, though, Michael claims he had brand on his bingo card. In fact, not even his bingo. Like he would have bet he had that. He has a tweet that proves it. Well, if you have a tweet that proves it, I won't argue with it. I didn't. So
now, were you about to get into the vigilante mission?
Okay. So what I'd like to do, I want to talk about Casey and Monica because we hadn't really talked about them too much. Then we're going to talk about the ending. Then we're going to wrap this thing up because we got Game 7, and I love a Game 7. We got Thunder and Rockets coming up. So, all right, there is essentially a serial killer. Yeah. On the reservation, not on the reservation, killing the people. And to draw him out, Monica, mother of Tate, breaker of chains, decides to act as bait. Now, that in itself doesn't blow my mind.
Could be clever.
Because she looks like the profile of the victims.
We weren't sure. The show didn't make it clear, and then pretty quickly, like, oh, like you see her just standing by her car, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
now,
I don't see what's going on here.
Here's where the problems immediately begin. Oof. That serial killer is the second damn car, and I don't care if it's Montana. It's the second car that passes by. They don't do anything to show us like her eat a meal, her drink a couple. We see some empty bottles of water in the side of the sea. Give me something to indicate a passage of time. Forget the fact that I think there's even better odds that an actual true helper would have stopped before he did. I could at least buy he may be the only person on that road regularly that would pull over. But you got it literally to me felt like she pulled her car over, she yanked the hose, bleep, bleep, bloop, here's the serial killer, ready to pick her up.
Yeah.
No,
bring the dinner.
There's not been a plan in the history of the world that goes like that. So, what?
Well, and then we should say that seems to be where
what happens
that
next.
seems to be where the plan ends. I do like also that she actually did do damage to her car. Like I thought, she like rigged something up to with some soap, but you find out later, like I think she actually did, like destroy a part, like because
she had to make it look real.
I can't use my car, basically, or something. I don't know, but yeah. So the plan ends with get caught.
And this is the end of the plan. She's like, "Oh, I'm caught."
Because the whole time I'm thinking, all right, what does she got up her sleeve? Like she's got a weapon or something. They're driving, and he pulls off, and he takes the unexpected turn, and then it's, what are you doing? And he's like, and then he just gets out, like, we're going up here, and I'm going to kill you. I mean, he basically is like, yep, I'm about to kill you, without saying it. And then you're like, oh, shit, she's about to spring the trap.
Yeah.
And then she just takes off.
And Chip took off.
Like, your plan was run?
Yeah. She actually, and then for a second, she gains the advantage. She has him on his back.
She hits him with a big-ass rock.
So finish the job. And that's one of the reasons I like Beth. Whatever, she would have. But, so then she gets caught again. This sniper, the Native American man of war, makes a hell of a shot that if she had just gained some purchase on him and leaned up, he could have killed them both. And I'm like, wait a minute. Then we see 40 cop SUVs rolling. I'm like, you guys were waiting the whole time? You were there the whole time? Why didn't you roll in the second that truck, she
almost got murdered. Like, she was really close to being murdered.
And I know they didn't know he didn't have a weapon, but guess what? He didn't have a weapon. You had all that manpower. I mean, did they feel like they needed to catch him?
As soon as they saw him pull off the main road, they should have completely pounced on.
Okay, let me say this. Did they have him on anything until he threw her to the ground and tried to rape her? Did they technically have him on much?
I don't
think
so. Of what we saw, this is not me trying to I'm certainly not trying to just. So what did we see? We see them get out of the car. She runs. He's chasing after her. She hits the hell out of him with a big ass rock.
Yeah.
Up to that point, that's really, yes, he does tackle. So, he tackles her. She hits him with a rock. So, to me, it's a pretty questionable, I feel like.
Well, you shoot him then.
Pretty questionable ground already legally on, what you could or couldn't do if you want to go there. Because she has initiated some of this conflict.
I think when he pinned her to the ground, you had him.
Yes.
And she hit him.
I'm sure you can find something.
But,
but they didn't go for it. Thank God, because it's there seemed to be no one to save her except for the sudden appearance of a sniper, because he had her dead to rights at that point. But yeah, I guess I feel like the plan was just to kill him,
get her. Well,
because
I'll say
unless you let it play out, what are you really going to be able to? If you wanted to look to your point, what I'm trying to make the point is. Let's say it's the cops come in and they got him, but you guess you get him on kidnapping? Until he crosses the line, which thank God that didn't happen, but see what I mean? It's just the whole thing.
Well,
so
I would posit something way more believable.
I don't understand any of it.
I think this is they're on the reservation, are they not?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you what should have happened, and based on the entire history of this show, what should have happened. She gets free, and then the sniper blows his head off. They're on that reservation. Everybody that could get in trouble for doing it is there.
Yeah.
And everybody that's in charge of putting people in trouble for doing it is there. That's it. It's done. The fact that he caught her a second time is preposterous, because that sniper blows him. You got everything you need after she escaped the first time.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
You knew as soon as he starts chasing her, he's probably
that's our guy. Yeah.
And that's all that is to give the show some credit. All they were trying to show is we know he's the guy now.
Yeah,
fair enough. I feel like you knew probably earlier than that, but whatever. You needed a clean shot, so you needed that nice little hillside for that.
Yeah,
and I do understand they roll in after because it's like we got it because it seems like their plan was we're just going to execute him and then we'll roll in and get the body. Yeah, it just. You maybe would like to see a few more snipers perched, maybe. I
got the one.
Like, what if he misses? I don't know. Yeah. Like,
all right.
Anyway, that just the fact that I couldn't. My disbelief that the plan was run was just.
I have not seen a plan since Getter and Ghostbusters that I thought had more flaws, and I actually think that plan probably was more thought out. Okay, let's jump to. Or we talked about her. Casey, just a great season from Casey. We got to see him do his badass operator stuff. When he tells that guy, turn your chest to the, you need to face the wall. And I've seen Wind River where shotgun blasts and gun blasts come out of a trailer. So I was like, oh, I knew before he got shot why he was telling him to do it. And Michael Green does have that tweet. So good job. And when he just tack, 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 I mean, that's like operator moves.
Oh, yeah.
And puts him down.
So good.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say because he doesn't say much. And then, all right, this is a good segue into the ending. He just immediately throws that desk up. And these bad things, that SWAT team rolls in.
I was mad as hell, though. I want to see that shit play out.
This is where,
come on, man.
Again,
you got to at least see me. You got to let me see a little bit.
Yeah. This is where they have a network sensibility. That is something you used to see. I hardly watch network TV anymore. And that's what, I'm sure you remember as well. Every season, unless it was canceled, always ended on a cliffhanger. That's just how it was done. Yeah. And I didn't realize how much more accustomed I've become to whether it's Ozark or even like Vikings, where for the most part, by the end of a season, you reach the culmination of, other things are set up, but it's not like this Who Shot JR stuff. All right. So that ending.
They did it to the maximum.
That's
crazy. Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous. I enjoyed it. It's great. Okay, I don't want to hear that this is a show grounded in any kind of reality.
I had a thought. I want you to help me here. How did Beth know that was a bomb? The assistant said, "Oh, it's a box in a box," and we knew. I said, "Oh, bomb."
Yeah,
I've been
not to be confused with Dick in a box.
I was like, we hadn't had explosions yet. I think for a few episodes, like, all right, there's got to be a bomb coming. So, but I was like, that's a bomb.
Yeah.
And it was, but like,
bomb.
But she knew. She's like, no, don't open that. I'm like, wait a minute, what? How? Maybe there's something. Like,
one of the companies that Schwarzenmeyer owns is a C4 plastic explosive company, and she had to do some research. I'm just making shit up. I don't know.
Did I don't know how she knew it was a setup? Like, we knew the setup from a conversation she wasn't privy to between the CEO and Rourke. Like, oh, we're going to make this like our Middle East deals.
Yeah.
So then that's also was kind of getting me in there. It's like, oh, so things about to start blowing up.
Yeah.
But like, she didn't know that. So I guess again, I'm like, how did she? It didn't matter. It was an instant later, boom. But like, I just like, how did she know? I don't know. It's weird. It's a little thing.
There's a difference.
It's minor.
There's a difference between a guy with a criminal record known for mischief and his son disappearing. You can, especially if you take him to the train station, you can probably get away with that. But let me tell you what you can't get away with in this country. And this is premise one where market equity is responsible for all of these. You can't get away with a coordinated hit on three members of a family, two hits, two of which involve a bombing in broad daylight of an office building in fucking Montana, and the second, a paramilitary invasion of the what do you call it?
The livestock community.
The livestock community,
like City Hall, maybe.
Which I promise you that office is not big enough that it's the only office in that building.
No, it's probably like City Hall or something.
And you heard gunshots and screaming. So like,
yeah, you heard like machine gun fire. That's instinctually he's immediately reacted hearing it in the hallway.
So from a creative standpoint and a wow factor, that's awesome. But from
once the FBI shows up, they're gonna pretty quickly start putting things together.
Yeah, I mean, market equity.
The one who got exploded, she was tangoing with this company. She had just gotten fired. I mean, there's so many connections. It's ridiculous.
They're all going to prison.
Yeah,
they're not getting away. I'm sorry. Like, I loved it from a creative standpoint. Seriously, I'm gonna eagerly watch the season premiere.
Godfather.
It was reverse Godfather. But the Casey one I can't accept under any circumstances. Logically, I can't. There's
Wouldn't you wait till he's like out on the road in the countryside where there's like vast distances and no one since he goes out and like deals with livestock issues. Wouldn't you do that rather than hit him in his office?
Do you think John Dutton's killers are related to the serial killer? That they're just out there in the valley and they happen to be finding the guy they want? Because the woman is not part of the setup.
That poor woman from Encino, boy, that sucks.
She's not part of the setup, which was the only believable way.
I thought she was like an assassin.
I did too.
I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be cool.
Yeah, even with the kid, I thought, that's some dark
better,
Yellowstone shit. But no, there's just some dude in his Chester van rolling.
So here's one that we talked about this.
How did they find it?
Do you think? Because there was a hint that the chief, the tribe was potentially going to, because his attorney just Beth, his version of Beth was like, you need to kill the king, and she's like, there are no laws, there's no morality. That whole little sequence. So I feel like they were kind of trying to get us to think that at least one of those was them doing that, but.
Did you like how they juxtapose her and Beth? Beth's quoting Nietzsche in one point, and then she's basically saying some shit that sounds like Nietzsche later. But no, I've got this weird feeling he didn't have anything to do with any of it. I don't know how to explain it. No, I don't either. But I think they're going to pin it all on who's the disposable villain. Well, it's Rourke and it's market equities. That's why I don't think Jamie. I think Jamie's. I don't think you should call it anymore. Was
conflict between Dutton and the chief.
Whoever did that has to go.
Yeah, I mean the series. This is going to end with Dutton versus the chief. Like their family versus the reservation. Like who's going to get the land? Like I feel like that's where it has to end. So yeah, I agree that like market equities is going to go down in spectacular fashion. Oh my God!
Well, they keep ratcheting it up. Is my concern. I feel like by the end of. By the end of Yellowstone season 5, like, are they going to be like
in space?
In space. And I just won. The officials making themselves very present.
We'll go 2-0.
All right, yeah. All right, so we'll stick to this. We're going to do a little NBA pod soon.
Wow.
But overall, I loved it. The ending was so much fun.
Walker, we didn't really get to that.
Oh, we didn't get to Return of Walker. I love Walker.
Yeah.
Has he got like an EP out yet?
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Got some B-sides? Yeah. All right. So that was it. Oh, any overall thoughts? Because I loved it. I loved it. The ending is, again, don't ever say this show is grounded in any kind of reality because that is absurd. There is no equity fund company on the planet that will send in paramilitary troops in the States to loudly assassinate one person in broad daylight in a government building. It will not happen. So,
yeah, I mean, look, I love the show. I think this was.
Michael agrees with us.
Season 3.
Rainwater had nothing to do with it.
Right, yeah,
it's not his style, man. He's not going to kill his kids.
He basically was like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
So we'll see. I think it's going to be very disingenuous if it ends up that he had something to do with it.
It's going to really go against the way they've set him up. Like, I really think he wants to beat them.
He wants to fight him right up fair and square.
Because that way his success is permanent.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. Well, we go ahead. Go.
Season 3 probably wasn't quite as strong as the previous 2.
Probably not.
But
although,
it was good.
I think it was as good as 1. No, probably not.
Nah,
we don't need to go back to summer camp.
It's like you said, I wish they would get away from the like we were talking the network tendencies
Casey and Monica
stuff
need
where,
a
somebody
permanent
asks
divorce.
somebody a question and they just stare at them and then cut to and next thing,
well, they're building in commercial
like
time.
Yeah, I don't like that. Give me an answer. I don't mind a serious stare.
Can you imagine?
Some shows do that, but they don't leave it where things are clearly should be a human response is warranted and none is given. Little things like that. Like you said, the cliffhanger. I mean, part of it's a cliffhanger. Well, everybody gets pissed off at a cliffhanger, but
new Jamie can stay. Monica and Tate they either need to soup up they need to do something a little more interesting. This Casey Monica thing, I'm ready for it to be over with.
Just move on. All right. Yeah, I don't want to see it anymore. I'm tired of it.
I'm tired of it. I'm very glad Jamie will never return to the ranch.
I've never seen in a movie or TV show, Marriage is Hard. I've never seen that before.
Man, did you know that?
God almighty. Yeah, please stop hitting me over the head with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I mean, because I can't get enough of John's just where does he get these poetic things that he says? I don't know, but I love it. Everything he says
Mark Twain Shakespeare
is quotable.
Hell, son, you can ride a horse all day, but you can't water it all night. And then he does a little laugh at the end. You're like, that's so profound. But anyway, cool. All right. Loved it. Fun season.
Oh, it's great.
I heard that they were starting to shoot hopefully by mid-July. Maybe they can pull that off because it's in Montana and it's spread out. I don't know. I want everybody to be careful and be safe. You don't have to entertain me, but please do. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right.
That's it.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.
Peace. What happened to peace?